Today our topic is digestive system. Digestive system is the system which helps in digestion. Digestive system is made of organs which help in digestion. What is digestion? Digestion is breaking of food. Digestion is simply the breaking of food. So, digestive system is a set of organs which help in digestion. What is digestion? Digestion is the breaking of food. Why the food is digested? Because the food we eat cannot enter into the blood. Because the food we eat cannot enter into the blood. So the breaking of food is broken down so that it can enter the blood. The breaking of food, the cause of breaking of food, the cause of digestion, the purpose of digestion is so that it can enter the blood. So all of the digestion, the digestive system, the purpose is so that it can enter the blood. The food we eat is a very large, so it cannot enter the blood. So after breaking, it can enter the blood. Digestive system has 4 parts. 4 parts. Number 1, gastrointestinal tract. Digestive system has 4 parts. The first part is gastrointestinal tract. It is also called alimentary canal. Alimentary canal. Second part is digestive organs. Digestive organs are 2, liver and pancreas. Third part is blood. The fourth part is nerves. So we will discuss it one by one. We will discuss these 4 parts one by one. So the first part is gastrointestinal tract. The gastrointestinal tract in short form is GIT, gastrointestinal tract. It starts from mouth and end at anus. So we will now draw it. The gastrointestinal tract, it starts from mouth. This is mouth. The second part is pharynx. This is mouth. Second part is pharynx. This is pharynx. Mouth, it is also called oral cavity. Above the mouth, there is a soft tissue called soft palate. This is hard palate. This is mouth. Above the mouth, this is hard palate, and this is soft palate. Soft palate also help in digestion. Below the pharynx, there are two tubes. The one in the front is trachea. Trachea is a part of respiratory system. Behind the trachea is esophagus. Above the trachea, there is epiglottis. The esophagus opens into stomach. This is stomach. In the lower part of esophagus, there is a sphincter. It is called lower esophageal sphincter. It is also called cardiac sphincter. Functions. We will talk about the functions after we draw the diagram. After the stomach opens into duodenum. Duodenum is the first part of small intestine. Then small intestine. This is small intestine. Then large intestine. This is large intestine. The large intestine this is sigmoid colon. This is rectum, and the last part is anus. So the gastrointestinal tract starts from mouth. In the mouth is also called oral cavity. What happens in the oral cavity? In the oral cavity, there are teeth. The process of digestion starts from the teeth. When we eat food, the teeth chew the food, and this is called mastication. The chewing of food is called mastication. In mastication, the food is chewed into a small molecule, into a small substances, into a small pieces. In mastication, the food is broken down into smaller substances, and it is called bolus. Mastication. There are two types of muscles which help in mastication. The chewing of food is carried out by two types of muscles. One is called temporalis, and second is masseter. There are also smaller muscles which help in mastication. So in the oral cavity, the teeth are the parts which carried out mastication. Mastication the food is converted into smaller substances called bolus. There are two types of muscle which help in mastication. One is temporalis and the other is masseter. Actually, what happens in the chewing? In the chewing, the lower jaw, this is the lower jaw. The lower jaw moves up and down and chew the food. The upper jaw do not move. Only the lower jaw move. In the oral cavity, beside teeth, there are glands, salivary glands. In the oral cavity, there are salivary glands. Salivary glands are present beneath the tongue and behind the mouth. Beneath the tongue and behind the mouth. Suppose this is the tongue. Beneath the tongue here, the glands are present here and also behind the mouth. The salivary glands moist the food. Moist the food when the food is moistened, and the salivary gland also produce enzymes. These enzymes are called amylase. Amylase, the function of amylase is the breaking of large carbohydrate into small carbohydrate. Amylase converts starch is a large carbohydrate, and convert into simple carbohydrate called glucose. So, when the food is chewed and it is mixed with enzymes, the next step is swallowing. Swallowing is the process in which the food moves from the mouth to the stomach through the esophagus. The food is moved from the mouth through the esophagus and to the stomach. Swallowing has three parts, three steps, we call it steps. The first step is oral. So, the first step is oral stage. In the oral stage, the tongue moves the food behind the back of the mouth into the esophagus. The food moves into the esophagus. This is esophagus. And this is trachea. The movement of food into the trachea is prevented by a cartilage. This cartilage is called epiglottis. Epiglottis is a cartilage which prevents the movement of food into the trachea. The movement of food above the mouth is prevented by this tissue called the soft palate. Soft palate prevent the entry of food into above the mouth into the nose, and the epiglottis prevent the entry of food into the trachea. So, the food from the mouth enters into the esophagus. So, this is the oral stage. The oral stage is a voluntary stage. Voluntary stage means it is in our control. The second stage of swallowing is Pharyngeal. Pharyngeal stage. What is pharynx? Pharynx is behind mouth, nose and larynx. This area in the circle, this area in the circle is the larynx, is the pharynx. The movement of food in the pharynx is called pharyngeal stage. When the food enters into the pharynx, this cartilage called epiglottis prevents its entry into the trachea, while the soft palate prevents its entry into the nose. The third stage of swallowing is esophageal stage. Esophageal stage, it happens in the esophagus. The food moves through the esophagus and to the stomach. The movement of food in the esophagus is called peristalsis. Peristalsis is the movement of food in the esophagus to the stomach. This stage is also involuntary. The pharyngeal stage is also involuntary. It means these both stages are not in our control. During peristalsis, the esophagus rhythmically contracts and relaxes, and the food is moved downward into the stomach. The food from the mouth to the stomach takes at least 4 to 8 seconds. Now the food enters into the stomach. The food enters through a sphincter. This sphincter is called lower esophageal sphincter. Lower esophageal sphincter. It is also called cardiac sphincter. This sphincter is nothing but just a tissue in the form of circle. It is a circular tissue. And the function of it is to regulate the movement of food. The food enters into the stomach. The stomach, it has 4 parts. The first part, which is near the sphincter, this part is called cardiac part. This is cardiac part. The second part is fundus. The fundus, below the fundus, the main part is body. Body is the main part of stomach. It is in the center of the stomach. The fourth part is pyloric. Pyloric part is near the pyloric sphincter. This is pyloric sphincter. It is also a circular tissue. Pyloric sphincter is also a circular tissue, and it regulates the movement of food into the duodenum. This is duodenum, and after the duodenum there is jejunum. This is jejunum, and this is ileum. Now the stomach is normally 50 ml space. Normally the stomach has 50 ml space. After eating food, it is increased into 1 liter. It can also be increased to 4 liter. Stomach has two Functions. Stomach has two functions. One is physical, one is chemical function. The food, which is also called bolus, is converted into chyme by the physical action of the stomach. In physical action, the stomach converts the bolus into chyme. It is just like a churning machine in which the bolus is converted into chyme. The muscles of the stomach convert the bolus into chyme, and the chemical function is performed by gastric juice. Gastric glands in the stomach has two functions, physical function and chemical function. The physical function is performed by the stomach body, the stomach muscles, while the chemical function is performed by gastric glands. In gastric gland there are four types of cells. Number first, parietal. Number second, Chap cells. Number third, mucus secreting cells. Number 4, hormone secreting cells. When food enters into the stomach, the hormone secreting cells release gastrin. The gastrin causes the release of hormones from these three types of cells. The gastrin then stimulates these three types of cells. The parietal, the Chap, and the mucus secreting. The parietal function of parietal cells is to release HCl and intrinsic factor. HCl helps in the digestion of the cell. It also kills bacteria, while the intrinsic factor, it attaches to vitamin B12 and carry it to the small intestine. So the parietal cells produce HCl and intrinsic factor. The Chap cells release pepsinogen. Pepsinogen is the precursor of pepsin. From pepsinogen, pepsin is formed, and pepsin helps in the digestion of protein. While the mucus secreting cells, as the name indicates, it secretes mucus. Mucus is for the protection of the stomach wall, stomach lining. Mucus protects the stomach lining from the HCl. Mucus protects the stomach line from the HCl. Absorption in stomach. In stomach, very little absorption takes place. Only fat soluble substances can cross the stomach wall. For example, aspirin and ethanol. Aspirin and ethanol and also iron, some of the iron can also pass through the stomach wall into the blood. So there is very little absorption in the wall of the stomach. Water and ions can also cross the stomach wall, but in small amount. Aspirin, ethanol and iron also cross the stomach. So the functions of the stomach, the first one is breaking up the food. Some fats are break down, proteins are break down by the HCl, by the pepsinogen, and second function is the killing of the bacteria by the HCl. The HCl, due to HCl, the pH of the stomach is very little and it kills the bacteria, so protect our body from the bacterial side effects. And also the physical churning of the food, physical digestion of the food into smaller substances, and the next function is the digestion of proteins and fats. So these are the functions of the stomach. And one more function of the stomach is storage of food. The stomach store a lot amount of food which is slowly released into the small intestine, and small intestine then digest it. The release of these hormones is also controlled by nervous system, and that's the end of the stomach.